Are happening here at the Star in Frisco. Happy Mother's Day, everybody, and welcome to the Blitz here inside the Globe Live studios at the Star. Bill Jones along with Nicole Hutchison. Kyle Yeomans will be along shortly. So much going on behind the scenes the last week. We had the ACM Awards back on Thursday night. We had rookie minicamp last week, but stealing the headlines, the trade for George Pickens. He is a Dallas Cowboy. What was your reaction when you heard the news, Nicole?
I was shocked. I woke up out of my bed at like 7 a.m. and I see on Twitter like George Pickens is heading to the Cowboys. Okay, the Cowboys get their wide receiver at 7 a.m. in the morning. We love to see it.
Yeah, and now we know why the Cowboys didn't draft a wide receiver in the draft, right?
Absolutely. That was something that Jerry Jones had said. Pretty much the underlying message was just wait because it's coming. And it came with George Pickens. I mean, you talk about a guy who had the highest yards per reception since 2023 with 16.7, tied with Justin Jefferson also for most 20-plus air yards in the NFL, in the NFL. But, I mean, this is a guy who brings so much. He plays with a lot of emotion. He's a fiery competitor as well, something that could probably bring some more out of CeeDee Lamb. Not that CeeDee Lamb needs any more of that either, but you're getting just a lot more competition in that wide receiver room, something that I'm really looking forward to, Bill.
All right, we'll have much more on George Pickens coming up later here on the Blitz, but let's kick things off and go behind the scenes exclusively here as Jerry Jones addressed the rookies at minicamp last week.
I can't tell you how much this is about right now for you. Every drill, every practice is about right now, because the biggest mistake I've ever seen any players make in your shoes is they thought, well, we'll get it done this next month, we'll get it done next year, whatever. This is an urgent son of a gun here. Now then, be smart about where we go from here. Take advantage of the best, I promise you, that I can find anywhere in the world to coach you. That's this staff sitting right here. That's these people sitting right here. Personally, as well as an organization, as a team, we need you to be smart and come in here and dig and go for it and get it out so we can line up against the Giants with you. Can you do that?
Yes, sir.
And you're doing it for all of us when you do it. Congratulations on being a Dallas Cowboy. We're proud of you. Very proud of you. Put your name on that script of being a great Cowboy and a great NFL player. Looking forward to get to knowing you individually. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Work on 3, 1, 2, 3.
You got me! You got me!
Something you won't see anywhere else. That's some neat stuff to see what happens behind the scenes for those rookies.
Absolutely, and they were locked into every single word Jerry Jones had to say. That's what you want to see out of your rookie class for sure.
All right, we're just getting started on this edition of the Blitz, and one of those rookies, we're going to break him down, Savone Revel. Yes, the Cowboys love having him here, but up next, Kyle Yeomans joins the show, and we are talking George Pickens, the newest Dallas Cowboy.
The Dallas Cowboys Blitz, presented by Blockchain.com, is brought to you by AT&T, an official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, and by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. This segment is brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
This week in Cowboys history, one of the Dallas legends is celebrating a birthday. Quarterback Roger Staubach turns 83. Later this year, 40 years will have passed since Staubach was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame after he led the Cowboys to their first 2 championships in Super Bowl VI and Super Bowl XII.
Always great to throw in the great Roger Staubach as we return here to the Blitz, and we've got Kyle Yeomans here to break down the big news of the week, and that would be, of course, George Pickens becoming a Dallas Cowboy, but you're going really in-depth on this one.
Oh, this is going to be a lot of fun. I've been excited to get a wide receiver 2 in the building, and they did that. It wasn't the only move they've made this offseason. Of course, they traded for Kenneth Murray, traded for Kaiir Elam, traded for Joe Milton. They've been busy in the trade market. Here's the compensation. This is what Dallas got back. This is what Dallas sent out on the bottom in yellow. George Pickens, they send a 3rd-round pick, and then they pick swap on day 3 of the NFL draft to make sure he is good to go as your wide receiver 2. So what does he bring, Bill Jones? What does he bring to the table?
I have a sense that there might be a telestrator just going to appear behind us here.
There we go.
There we go.
Let's see what he can do. And everybody talks about what he can do from a contested catch standpoint. Incredible. What he can do from a yards after the catch standpoint, really good in that regard. I want to talk about how he wins in really unusual ways. How about line of scrimmage? Not a crazy great route runner. He's not the technician that Amari Cooper once was. Let's take a look at him winning off the line of scrimmage. He's going to give a little shimmy with his shoulders, and then he bolts to the end zone. Let's go ahead and play through this one. Ready, stop. There's the little shimmy. That's all it was to get Sandstrom off of his balance, and then he's able to take off, finding open space in this zone defense, getting into the end zone, and having just a tad of separation. That's all he needs. That is all he needs from separation. Not a great throw, but guess who makes the play? Horizontal to the ground. It is George Pickens. Incredible hands. All he needs is a little separation. He's going to do the rest.
And the key there, he's playing against the Washington Commanders, and that's a really good cornerback he was going up against, the second-round pick last year out of Michigan, Mike Sainristil. All right, You got another one to show us here.
Yeah, one more to show you here, and there's a couple different looks at this one. He's at the bottom of your screen against the New York Jets. I love this play because deep threat ability is what Dallas has been missing. If we go ahead and press play, a little play action from Russell Wilson. Wilson's got plenty of time in the pocket. You see that little out route. It was just a go, but he knows where spacing is. Then he knows how to track the football. He goes back, finds the football, is able to establish physicality against the corner. He initiates contact on the sideline, not allowing this corner and Eccles to get back to the football to make a play on the football. And then because of that, a veteran move, just a little bit of a push off. He gets back to the football, adjusts his body, torque, catch, good. Got both feet in bounds, actually landed in bounds all over the place. And this is not just the one time George Pickens has done something like this on film. He does it multiple times. Let's take another look at this just because it was a pretty grab. I saw him go, of course, horizontal on that last look of the touchdown against the Commanders. He almost goes horizontal again here, having to go back to the football, catches basically with his right hand, controls all the way to the ground. Huge gain for Russell Wilson, the Pittsburgh Steelers. George Pickens, now he has an opportunity to do that type of work with Dak Prescott in Dallas.
And so then how does he fit with CeeDee Lamb here?
Well, that's the thing. Is CeeDee Lamb, a lot of what he gets is underneath the defense, finding the soft spot in zones, over the middle, yards after the catch, maybe even in the screen game. George Pickens, you want him running 10, 15, 20 yards downfield and allowing Dak Prescott to unleash it a little bit. You got to protect for Dak up front to allow George Pickens to do the type of damage that George Pickens can give you. But that's what you did with your first-round pick. You go and get Tyler Booker to protect up front, and now you have a deep threat ability in order to get George Pickens the football deep into the secondary. I love the fit here because they're both going to get targets, and a lot of people have been confused about the way it'll fit in a locker room. Both CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are going to get their fair share of targets because they're both good enough to constitute that. Tolbert, Mingo, and Turpin, the back half of the wide receiver room, that's where you're going to have some load share on the back end. Give Pickens, give Lamb the opportunity. You can't cover both at the same time.
All right, Kyle's going to stick around here. We're going to flip it to the other side of the football. We're going to take it one of the big rookies in this draft.
Cowboys Nation, we've got a wild one today. Just when you thought the Dallas Cowboys were done making moves after grabbing George Pickens, another massive name is being linked to our team, Kyle Pitts. Yes, you heard that right. A blockbuster trade for the Atlanta Falcons' star tight end is being teased, and it's coming from a source you wouldn't believe. Micah Parsons' own brother, Terrence Parsons. But is this just wishful thinking? Or could the Cowboys actually pull it off? Let's break this down. The Cowboys have already had an incredible offseason. They added a star receiver in George Pickens, and they've filled most of their roster needs. But tight end? That's where the conversation gets interesting. Right now, Jake Ferguson is our #1 tight end. But let's be honest, his production dropped last season, going from 761 yards in 2023 to just 494 in 2024. Maybe it was the absence of Dak Prescott, or maybe Ferguson just isn't the elite answer we hoped for. And that's exactly why Terrence Parsons' tweet has fans buzzing. He suggested that the Cowboys could trade a second-round pick for Kyle Pitts, and it set the internet on fire. Pitts is a player with elite talent who just hasn't had the chance to shine in Atlanta. A top 5 pick in 2021, he has all the tools to be a superstar. Size, speed, hands, everything. But with Atlanta struggling to find quarterback stability, he hasn't become the force he could be. Looking at his stats, Kyle Pitts recorded 800 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns in 2024, followed by a slight decline in 2025 with 720 yards and 4 touchdowns. But before you dismiss him, consider the situation in Atlanta: rotating quarterbacks, inconsistent play calling, and a lack of offensive identity. Those numbers could skyrocket with Dak Prescott throwing him the ball in Dallas. But let's be real for a second. This is all speculation. As of now, there's no report confirming Dallas is interested. But we know Jerry Jones, don't we? He's not afraid to make a splash, especially when it means giving Dak another weapon. And let's be honest, if Pitts came to Dallas, defenses would be terrified. Let's also consider the potential. With Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, and Kyle Pitts on the field, the Cowboys' offense would be a nightmare to defend. Who do you double team? Who do you leave in single coverage? It could be the most explosive Cowboys offense in years. Of course, there are financial aspects to consider. Pitts is still on his rookie deal, which makes him an affordable option for now. But if he shines in Dallas, the Cowboys would eventually need to pay him. So, would this be a short-term gamble or a long-term investment? So here's the million-dollar question. Should the Cowboys go for it? Should Jerry Jones make the call and try to bring Kyle Pitts to Dallas? All right, Cowboys fans, this is where I turn it over to you. Would you trade a second-round pick for Kyle Pitts? Would he be the final piece that takes this offense to an unstoppable level? Or should Dallas keep their picks and trust in Jake Ferguson? I want to hear what you think. Drop a comment below, give this video a like, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to Dallas Game Day. This is where Cowboys Nation speaks. Let's see that passion in the comments.